Greetings and welcome to the Baby KEDS Orientation for First Steps providers. I am Patty Singleton, one of the Technical Assistance Coordinators. My role is to assist new users in understanding KEDS and where to look for resources. Starting here on the KEDS homepage, please note the web address is www.kedsonline.org. We recommend you start here on the KEDS page as there is a What's New section on the right. The What's New section will list any new documents or resources for KEDS users. Let's start by taking a look at the publicly available information for First Steps users. Using the navigation on the left, click the First Steps users to expand the menu. The menu expands to show the types of information available for First Steps users. The webinars link will take you to information on how to contact KEDS to receive one-on-one training and also links to the recorded tutorials like this one. There is an extensive user guide available for providers and POE staff. These user guides have screenshots and will walk you through every step in the data entry process. We highly recommend you print and save this user guide as it is an especially helpful document for all users. In the resources section, you will find additional resources such as the First Steps newsletters which reference KEDS and copies of presentations which have been presented about KEDS. Now, let's take a minute to review the timeline. As of March 2010, these are the official First Steps timelines for data entry. If you have questions about this policy, feel free to contact the First Steps lead agency. All entry assessments should be entered within 10 days of referral. All annual and exit assessments should be entered within 6 weeks of the completion of the protocol. Finally, KEDS will be locking out assessment data to allow the analysis team time to prepare the assessment data for reporting. After the lockout date listed on the right, the assessment will be permanently locked. Now, let's review the First Steps frequently asked questions. These are questions that have been submitted by your colleagues, so when you do have questions, this is a great place to search for answers. To view the answer to the question, just click on it. When you are ready to return to the list of questions, click Back to All Items. Last is our email listserv. KEDS has set up an email listserv to communicate directly with providers entering KEDS data. From this page, you can enroll in the listserv or remove yourself. KEDS will send email updates when we add new questions to the frequently asked questions, when new resources are available, and when KEDS has been updated with TOTS data. Also, on the bottom of every page in KEDS, you will see an email to contact us. Feel free to use that if you have technical problems or questions. This email will go to our KEDS team and the appropriate person will return your message. Now, let's go back to the home page. We will use the First Steps login to log into KEDS. First Steps accounts are set up by the POE. If you have not already, you will need to contact your POE to receive your account login information. If at any time you forget your password, you may use this link to have a new password emailed to you. I'm now going to log in as a provider. We are now in the secure portion of KEDS. When we first log in, you will see your username, POE district you are assigned to. At this time, if you provide services to multiple POE districts, you will have to have a different username for each district. You have the opportunity at any time to change your password, and KEDS recommends you do this after the first time you log in. KEDS does have a logout button here, which will force your account to log out. In addition, KEDS has a 30-minute timeout security feature. If you were to leave your computer for more than 30 minutes, you will return to find KEDS has logged you out. Starting here on the main tab, you will see a News and Updates section on the left. Here, KEDS will post any system changes that have been made. Of most importance is the date KEDS last received TOTS data. If a child has recently been referred to First Steps, they may not yet be in KEDS. We will now go to the My Children tab. Here, all the children that have been assigned to you will be listed. The POE will assign children to your account. If there are missing children, feel free to contact the POE to ensure the child has been assigned to your KEDS account. Due to confidentiality and HIPAA rules, KEDS staff are not able to assign children to provider accounts. My provider account has only one child listed, named Test. I will begin data entry by clicking the plus sign beside his ID. At the top of the green bar are some basic demographics for this child. If any of the information is incorrect, let's say the initial IFSP date is incorrect, you will want to make that change in TOTS, which will update KEDS. Below his demographics are the assessment points which have been added to KEDS. If there are no assessment points for this child, it would read, "There are no assessment points for this child." Regardless, there will be a yellow button which reads Add an Assessment Point. Let's click that now. The Assessment Point Details form displays. Here is where data entry begins. First, choose the Assessment Point option. There are 4 assessment point options. Know that the 6-month update is not a billable service. If you have questions about the 6-month update, contact the lead agency. Next, enter the date of the assessment. If there is an IFSP in place, you may enter that date here. If not, you can leave this field blank. Select the assessment used. It is critical that you make the correct selection here. Please note that there is a difference between the help checklist and the help strands. Finally, you will choose the method, which will be paper and pencil. In the child information, you will select any areas of concern based on the current assessment and any providers who directly provided to this assessment. Finally, update the child's health status by selecting from the available options. The last option is to finalize. Ignore this for now. This will be the very last step. Now click Insert. The assessment point we just added will display at the bottom of the assessment point list. Click Select beside the date of the assessment you just added. The assessment point details display again, only this time it is a read-only version. Review again to make sure the assessment chosen is correct. If not, edit the assessment point. Now, scroll down and click Create Online Assessment. The second time you click, the button will read Go to Assessment. This is where the assessment data entry begins. The child's name, ID, and assessment date appear at the top of the screen for reference. In this example, we are using the help checklist. However, data entry for all tools is very similar. Click on the plus sign beside the help checklist and then edit beside each domain to view a list of the items. You will see a list of all items for that domain in the same order they appear in the protocol. Also, the answers listed are all of the publisher-approved scoring options. Begin copying your scores into KEDS. To expedite the data entry process, we have also added these select all options. And so you can select all pluses, select all plus minuses, and select all minuses. After that, then you can change some of these options, like if the child had scored some plus minuses here and there. When you get to the bottom of the domain, then you're going to want to click Update and Save. Then click Edit beside the next domain to see those items. You will continue to answer items, clicking Update and Save and moving through the protocol. If at any time you need to leave the assessment data entry and return later, feel free to close the window. Later, when you are ready to continue data entry, just click Go to Assessment again, and you will return to assessment data entry. The final step is to finalize the assessment. Finalize tells KEDS staff that the data has been entered and is ready to be exported. Additionally, the assessment point must be finalized for TOTS to process the payment. Finalizing is easy. You just have to click the Finalize button. Now, should you have unscored items in the protocol, it will warn you and list the domains and the number of items that you have unscored. And so this is a great reference for you as you're going through in case you missed an item or missed a section. And so obviously in this example where I've only scored a few of the items, we have lots of items yet to be unscored, and the assessment cannot be finalized until I go back and score those items. Returning to my children page, I can expand and see I do have some finalized assessment points, and so I can quickly look at this list of assessment points and see which ones have been finalized. Know that there is a delete option. However, that is a permanent delete. Once you delete it, it's completely gone. And so use this very cautiously, because you could potentially lose all of your information. It does prompt you to say, are you sure this cannot be undone? And it does delete both the assessment point and the assessment data entry. If you have concerns about an assessment point not verifying, contact the webmaster using the link in the footer. Some children, depending on their length of service in KEDS, may have an assessment report available which reports the child's progress. These assessment reports are created annually, so know if a child has not been in First Steps an entire year, the assessment point report will not be available. And that report would be available in this column. There would be a report icon under this report column. That wraps up our orientation on KEDS. Your next step will be contacting the POE to receive your login. Thanks for spending time with me today.